Just like yesterday though, Alex Mian rolls up to the grid in last position on that warm-up lap, just weaving his way through, getting that confidence up, feeling a bit of a big deal heading out into the race today. Whatever you got to do to perform at your very best, he weaves through, takes pole position. Who will get the jump? Who will get the whole shot? Who will get the win here in Red Bull Rookies? Round 6, race 2, about to get underway here in Austria. Revs are up and the lights are about to come on. And we're racing for the final time here in Austria. A cracking start from Marcus Oriarte leading the second row of the grid. But who got the jump from the front row? It looked like Munoz, but will it be for Risato breaking it down into turn 1, taking the whole shot? Yes, it is. The Japanese rider up there with Munoz and Brasri in third place. It's like a carbon copy of yesterday, Neil. Deja vu much?
Yeah, good start as well from championship leader.
Oh, that was a big collision. Oh my goodness me, what's going on there? There's some parts of motorcycles have just gone flying into the pack. A big collision there as well, so I hope everybody's okay. Goodness me.
Munoz underneath Alonso up in turn 3, but we have, I think that's Blasry, man. Who's
goodness me, big crash there. Coming out of turn 3, two riders collide. Not sure quite who that was. We'll get a look at that again in a bit. That's unfortunate, but hopefully seeing them get up and walk it off. It's Somogorba and the number 39. Don't tell me, it's my Bartolomé Perin. Dearie me, what a shame that is for the Frenchman and the Hungarian.
Yeah, great shame, but amidst the chaos, it's a good start for the tyre rider, Blasry, who was on the podium yesterday. Of course, he has managed to take an early advantage and has nearly half a second in hand over championship leader David Alonso, who has taken very little time to come through from 6th on the grid.
Well, there is the Hungarian remounted, so thankfully both riders okay. That is good news. But meanwhile, in amongst the chaos, it's Brasri out front. David Alonso already come through from 6th on the grid up towards 2nd place, and it's now up to 1st, or is it? No, not quite. Brasri using that superior corner speed into that penultimate turn. But what about into the final one? Wow, what an outside move that was from Brasri, and David Munoz up the inside into 3rd.
Yeah, Munoz loves that final corner to make a little move. He's been very aggressive in the last couple of races that we had. I fancy him for another podium finish here. And Matt, once again, just like yesterday, Mian has had a bit of a nightmare first lap. He started in 10th place.
Yeah, he really did. And tell you what, for Risato had a nightmare of a first position as well. He got swamped by the likes of Daniel Munoz and Ivan Ortela, the number 24. Marcus Oriate was outside. Holgado nearly on the grass. He wants to do some freestyle motocross to please the fans who've all come out. How many breaths are they going to go in towards turn 3? There's only one line pretty much that's supreme, and it's for Risato, who comes out on top into P4 then. Now they need to chase down the leading 3 with David Munoz out front.
David Munoz really does have his line nailed into turn 3. That's the second lap in succession that he's passed David Alonso just there, but Blasry has got him back on the run down to turn 4. But it is the Colombian that is just getting in front.
You're so hesitant with your words there, Neil, and understandably so. I wasn't sure if he was going to make it myself, but we've got 1-2 in the championship, 1-2 in the race here. David Munoz, well, he has one goal. He needs to beat David Alonso. It really is that simple. 16 laps to do it.
Absolutely. Here's a replay of that turn 3 move. This is going to be the crash between
Bartolomé Perin and Somogorba. Dearie me. So a bit put off by Adji coming back on circuit there along with another rider. Just a simple collision unfortunately there. Oh dear. So Somogorba already pretty much crashing and just colliding with Perin. Meanwhile, back at the front, Alonso at the inside of Munoz once again. Turn 10, here we are. That freight train, the ever so classic Red Bull Rookies freight train. That's why thousands of fans have stayed around till the end of the day's racing to watch the stars of tomorrow do battle as they come down in towards turn 1 once again. It's Alonso and Munoz who've really lost out there. They've been hoodwinked by the likes of Brasri and for Risato in towards turn 1. Careful of the track limits, chaps.
Absolutely, Alonso losing lots of positions. 1st to 7th, I think it was, in just one corner there. Alex Mian has made really good progress after a tough first lap. He's risen from 10th up to 6th. And also look out for Daniel Munoz. He qualified in 11th and he is now sitting in 8th.
Well, I'll tell you what, part of me, for the entertainment factor, is kind of pleased that both Munoz and Alonso have been completely swamped in this race. They're just going to get pushed back further and further. They've now got the pole sitter, Alex Mian, on their tail as well as they chase down the likes of Ortula, Holgado ahead of them. But it's the Asia Talent Cup graduates of Furusato and Brasserie, old sparring partners perhaps, going down into turn 4. Furusato, no legs out for him. He's old school style, breaking it down into turn 4 and everywhere else. He continues to lead here.
Furusato, a bit of a star of the Asia Talent Cup earlier this year, came into this series at Mugello, won his first race, and is really a star of the future. You have to say it's only a matter of time until that young man is racing in the Moto3 World Championship. He showed yesterday, Matt, that he is pretty capable of leading out at the front. Doesn't get too flustered when he's got clear track ahead. Let's see what he can do here with Brasserie just behind.
He's got a cracking line through turn 9, but the other problem is that Brasserie's so fast through there. He's sensational. Wow, 4-5 abreast or so it looked like from that camera angle in towards turn 9. Who's going to come out of this lap on top? 15 to go at the moment. When they come around the final corner and onto the straight, it'll be 14 to go. Furusato needs to be careful because that was well over track limits.
It was, yeah. Quite a few of the guys exceeding track limits at the final corner there. They have to watch out for that in the rest of the race, or a long lap penalty could be coming their way. As we see, that is Holgado.
Yeah, up the inside into second place. Well, this is the thing with Holgado. I mentioned yesterday, he stays fairly quiet in the opening sectors, only showing a wheel occasionally. Perhaps he needs to be more aggressive from the get-go here in the Red Bull Ring. If he wants to still have a shot at the championship, 55 points adrift he is. It's now or never, Danny.
It really is, Danny. As we see David Munoz
going
again
on the inside of Brasserie, does it very neatly indeed, keeps it inside the track limits too. That was pretty textbook.
That's one of the tightest, most technical corners, not just on this track, but I think on any track that we visit on this Red Bull Rookies calendar. And David Munoz is sensational into turn 3. Doesn't quite get the drive down to turn 4, though. He manages to just hold third place with Ortola right behind. Furusato continues, though, to lead.
What a recovery that's been from Alonso and Munoz, though. It was only a lap or so ago they were pushed well back towards 6th and 7th place. Now they're at the front again. Furusato makes way for Alonso. He went really wide there into turn 6, but does he get him on the cut back here, the Japanese rider? Experimenting with lines. What about turn 7? No. So we have Alonso out in the lead again. Now this is dangerous, Neil. They cannot afford to let him get away.
Yeah, Furusato needs to put all his concentration into these next couple of laps, because David Alonso has shown the last 2 races here at the Red Bull Ring that he can break clear and just run really consistent laps, getting faster and faster as the race goes on. So let's see what kind of response the likes of Furusato and David Munoz can muster.
The only problem with the leading 4 is they've got Ortola there, who produces a huge slipstream, but unfortunately he'll end up going backwards. Fastest lap of the race last time out, 1:39.6 from David Alonso, so he has clicked it up again, turned the screw, whatever cliche you want to run here as we come out of turn 1, out towards turn 2 and turn 3. The chase is on.
Chase is on as well, yep, absolutely. Holgado has just been shuffled back to 6th after he was sitting pretty a while ago. Brasserie is back down in 8th. That's a bit of a surprise after his sterling start to the race. In fact, he's 10th now, the number 5.
Uriarte getting all out of shape in the back of shot there. We're going up the inside of Colin Via, the Dutchman who missed last weekend's race to a positive COVID test. He's back in action this weekend though, which is good news. But look at that, last weekend's race winner Daniel Munoz up there into 5th place. Could he be a factor here today?
Yeah, a bit of a dark horse this weekend after qualifying down in 11th in the middle of the 4th row. Daniel Munoz had to retire out of yesterday's race because of a machine fault, I think it was.
Correct.
But he's looking pretty good at the moment in 5th place. Alex Mian has dropped back down to 12th, the number 23 pole sitter. That's a shame for him after he had made some decent progress from his tough start. But it looks as though, Matt, we're getting a bit of a 4-way fight and breakaway at the front with Alonso, Furusato, Munoz and Ortola.
Well, that is positive news then for anyone still with ambitions of winning this race. They're not quite letting Alonso get away, and as Furusato taps the back of his seat unit, inviting Munoz to get onto the back of him, chase down Alonso. Well, I did wonder whether Munoz was at that very moment going to send it up the inside of him there. Someone's gone way wide at turn 9 in the back of shot there. I wonder who that was. I think it was Alex Mian. So things go from bad to worse for the pole position rider. That's such a shame for the Spaniard.
Yeah, it was all looking so good when he claimed pole position yesterday, but he sadly hasn't been able to translate that into good results in the race. Alonso continues to win.
Oh, could it
that
be?
Is Mian. Maybe is that a
technical issue?
fault,
could
perhaps?
well be. He said he crashed, but I don't think he did, because I saw he was well upright.
Yeah, doesn't look like there's any scuffs on the fairing or to his leathers. If he did crash, I would say it was probably at very slow speed. But back at the front, Look at Furusato.
Up the inside at turn 3 of David Alonso. They have not let him get away this early on. 12 laps to go, still all to play for. Munoz, here is your chance. Your championship rival is right there. You have to send it up the inside. Get tough, get your elbows out. You can't let him get away.
Yeah, that has to be the tactic of these guys just behind them, liking. Oh, and that's Furusato well wide of turn 4.
Oh, and Furusato colliding with Ortola there as well on the exit of it too. So that leaves Alonso and Munoz out front there with a little bit of daylight. What about Furusato fighting back into turn 6 as well? Well, he's managed to do a great recovery there in just a corner.
He is indeed, yeah, a little bit scrappy there from the Japanese rider, but he's right back in the groove as they come around turn 7 and turn 8. We're going to see a replay of that. Just manages, it was close to...
I think he was a bit concerned that Alonso's knee was going to touch his brake lever and pulls back on, and unfortunately Ortola was already taking that line.
Oh, we saw that in the MotoGP race there a year ago, of course, when I think Paul Espargaro went wide. We saw him come back onto the racing line, collide with Miguel Oliveira, taking both men down. Thankfully, these guys managed to avoid doing that. David Alonso, though, still leads. Him and David Munoz have 0.3 of a second in hand over Furusato.
How does their pace compare to the fastest lap of the race last time out? We'll get to that in a moment, because big news, David Munoz has taken to the front there and he has shown the wheel to his main title rival, and that has led to Furusato catching back onto the back of them. Daniel Munoz, the namesake of David, is there as well. No relation. He was race winner in race 1 last time out. They're 5 abreast into turn 3. Ortola, I think, is going to be the last of the late breakers, and Furusato makes it up into second spot. So David Alonso got well beaten up. He is now right neck and neck with Danny Holgado, 3rd place in the championship.
Yeah, David Alonso being shown that this race might not be quite as straightforward as yesterday, and this is playing into the hands of Blasry, who's just set the fastest lap of the race, Matt, of 39.3. That was
who's that going way wide? Is it Ortola or is it Furusato once again? I think it is. Now slotting back into 3rd place, Neil.
Yeah, turn 4 proving to be quite difficult for Tayo Furusato. It's the 2nd lap in a row that he's run wide there. And yeah, as I said, watch out for Blasry, the number 5, has shuffled back the pack, but the fact that these guys are fighting among themselves up at the front, Blasry is able to cling on to the back of them there. You can see the red helmet, number 5, just behind number 89, Uriarte.
Well, what about this then? Furusato out front, but is it Ortola who's going to get the jump into turn 9? It's Furusato just about, as Alonso goes up the inside of Daniel Munoz, race winner from last weekend at race 1, but they come out of the final corner once again. It's a huge freight train, as we've come to expect, all the way down to P8. Look at Vitelli in 9th place, just behind this lot, and then Ogden up there into 10th as well, fighting with Via. I think actually Via and Ogden, well, they're on the back of this group now, so it's an 11-rider strong freight train. Who was that going really wide at the first corner? Was it Ortola? I think it was.
Yeah, as you say, Matt, Ogden and Via right on the back of this group. That means we have 11 riders covered by 1.2 seconds. Fast, frantic, and very unpredictable, just as we like it in the Red Bull Rookies Cup. David
Munoz up the inside of David Alonso, taking the lead that time around. What about Furusato? David Alonso looks behind to check he's still there. Oh, that was pretty hairy stuff as Orto, another rider, getting a look around. Goodness me, action non-stop here. Uriarte's moved up into 4th in that melee as well. 5 abreast into turn 4 once again. Sideways for Munoz. He likes it loose. Out they come all cleanly, but I have no idea how.
Me neither. That makes 2 of us, mate. But Furusato nice and clean around turn 4 on that occasion. He's sitting quite comfortably there in 2nd place. And once again, I think David Alonso is going to start pressuring these guys from the front. Do they have what it takes to ride intelligently just behind and not mess each other up too much when he's trying to break clear?
God, it's like a magnet, isn't he, to that P1 position? Just David Alonso just always finds a way. Whether it's a will, there's a way. Same goes for David Munoz when he wants to make an overtake. Up the inside at turn 9, he's supreme there. He dispatches Furusato very efficiently indeed in towards turn 10. Perfect line for a slipstream out of it. On the chase of Alonso once again. He just never gives up. Good job.
Really, it is now or never for David Munoz to make an impression on Alonso in the championship, and there he is up inside at turn 1. A textbook move for the number 64 with the yellow helmet at the front. Tayo Furusato continues to watch on just behind in 3rd.
Wow, this is just an awesome race, isn't it? You can see there, well, still the main top 11 fighting it out. Munoz getting dangerously close to David Alonso's rear wheel. For Risato at the inside of Munoz once again. So Danny Holgado, he doesn't need a second invitation, and Munoz doesn't need one to take him straight back either. Neck and neck they come out of turn 3, down towards turn 4, the two Spanish riders.
This is the run down to turn 4. We're looking back from David Alonso, but there's someone on our inside. I think that is
for Risato. But David Alonso, goodness me, he's so good at outbraking people from round the outside, isn't he? Just carries such awesome corner speed through there in turn 4, despite being such a slow turn. But for Risato, looking at the inside, taking a peek through at turn 6. Well, this is around about the time, I think, yesterday that we saw the Colombian start to get away from it. But for Risato says, I'm going to try and have a look at the inside once again. And Munoz, you just know he's going to be there in 1 corner's time at turn 9.
Yeah, David Munoz has got the right idea. He knows he has to try and upset David Alonso's rhythm any way he can, otherwise the Colombian will just break clear, as we saw yesterday. And there is Furisato having a look into turn 9. Not
so
quite
many
making
looks, but he's unable to just make it stick, isn't he? At the moment for Risato, goodness me, over the curves there, the bikes got a bit unsettled, didn't they? 8 laps to go as they cross the line this time.
Look who's up to 4th. It's the number 5 of Patagon Boisry. Looking very good after he was shuffled back towards, I think, 10th place earlier in the race. He's now right back in the running as well. Podium finisher here yesterday, of course.
Yeah, it's a real fight back on from Boisry, and I wouldn't put it past him to get another podium. 3 consecutive podiums it would be for Boisry, I think it is. I mean, I'm losing track of deja vu-ness here at Austria as they're neck and neck going towards the grass once again, through turn 2 and up towards turn 3. Goodness me, look at this freight train here. You got Scott Ogden, Filippo Farioli in the background there as well. The number 77 all joining on the back, getting in on the fun. It's Alonso, though, who emerges out of the corner in front once again, though. And look at that, the other Munoz, number 7, Daniel, on the chase now with Marcus Uriarte behind them.
He has to be careful because I think he's received a track limits warning to the dashboard of his bike. But, well, he was a race winner here last weekend, was Daniel Munoz. A little under the radar in qualifying and free practice. The 11th on the grid, but he's made stealthy progress through this lead pack to sit 2nd.
Yeah, very much. And it's not going to be stealthy for much longer, is it? He's going to want to send a move up the inside, all round the outside of David Alonso here. It won't be at turn 7, it won't be at turn 8 either, but keep your eye on turn 9. Who's got the superior corner speed, sending it down into that negative cambered right-hander in this final sector. He pulls out of the slipstream, he comes. Who will be the last of the late breakers? Daniel, no! It is David once again. He is so good at that. That is one of the aspects, well, one of the aspects that makes him such a dominant rider in this series.
Yeah, Alonso so good into turn 9. You can see there the number 64 of David Munoz motioning to, I think it was Furisato just behind, to tag along. Don't try anything silly and I'll bring you towards the front.
You're already there, mate. No need. Just tuck in on the slipstream. Don't ruin the aero gains by sticking your arm out into the wind. We're now looking at a slow-mo replay of that turn 9 attempt, I think, from Daniel Munoz. Yes, we are.
Yeah, the 13 of Sho Nishimura has just been handed a long lap penalty for repeatedly exceeding track limits.
Wow.
So the Japanese rider will have to take that within a couple of laps. We see a great replay there of the 64 Munoz underneath his countryman Uriarte at turn 9. He really does like that point on the track to overtake.
Well, it's now somehow Danny Holgado out front. I did not see what happened there, obviously, as they're now neck and neck, 3 abreast into turn 4. David Munoz up the inside of Alonso. No, he's up the inside of Holgado instead. Another rider going very wide. It's Furisato. He just loves an outside line there, but it doesn't work, Tayo. You've got to try the inside one instead, chap, as we see David Alonso out front with Munoz once again. Yeah,
that was a tough moment for Furisato. He's dropped all the way down to 11th. The man that's pretty much been inside the top 3 positions for most of this race. Now he has a massive fight back on his hands from outside the top 10. But obviously a front row qualifier, he is a man that is capable of doing just that.
Look at this then. So the top 3 in the championship are now your top 3 in this very race. Alonso from Munoz, from Holgado, Austria, round 6, race 2, as close as you like then, on track and in the standings overall as well. Round the final corner they come then. It'll be 6 laps to go this time around. We have, I think, 11, maybe 12 riders in this leading group here. We'll see as it ticks down. It's it's even more than that. It's like 13, 14. Goodness me. So just as close as ever. Who's gone way wide there? That was David Munoz. Oh, dearie me. That could be fairly, well, that could be trouble.
It could be trouble, yeah. You can see Alonso is just edging clear of not only David Munoz, but the rest of this pack. And he's able to really hold his concentration and keep those lap times low. Oh, as we see Holgado underneath Boisry at turn 3. Impressive stuff there from the number 96. And Matt, well, just look at all the countries represented at the front of this group. We see Artola has got a track limits running warning, but we have Colombia, Spain, Thailand, all represented there.
Yeah, absolutely, and not far behind them you've got Italian, Japanese, Dutch, UK, Switzerland even in 12th place as well, with Detweiler, perhaps one of the most local riders that we have, apart from Jakob Rosenthaler, down at 18th position at the moment, fighting with Eddie O'Shea for 17th spot, just ahead of him. 5.5 laps to go as we come through turn 6. Then it's Boisry who's got past Holgado, then holding on to that 3rd position again. I just can't tell you, can't express enough one awesome turn of form this has been for the young tyre rider since being, well, we can say it honestly now because he's earned one since, a gifted podium back in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. He's really transformed from a guy challenging for top 10s to a guy that's regularly fighting at the front of this series. That is no mean feat for the tyre rider. Obviously, Somkhat Chandra has shown form around this track as well, been a bit of an inspiration. Those two guys are good mates. Somkhat Chandra securing his best performance in the Moto2 World Championship today here at this very track, and Boisry looking to follow suit.
But look at this, Neil. How many, well, what was the gap at the back from Munoz to Boisry there? Half a second, and it looks like it could be perhaps a little bit more as they come onto the start and finish straight. Munoz just about in the slipstream of David Alonso, but he is trying to eke out a gap corner by corner, little straight by little straight. He is the pocket rocket. He does not produce much of a slipstream, so this could be fairly pivotal in the race. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Yeah, David Munoz is doing really well to hold on to Alonso up at the front, because you can see there's now 0.4 of a second between those two guys, and Boisry in 3rd. Yeah, it's no surprise Alonso once again trying to stretch the pack.
Yeah, and he's doing a very good job of it as well, wasn't he? As I think he was, apart from Munoz, yep, he was the fastest rider last time around, a 1:39.5.
Yeah, exactly, a 39.5. Compare that to the mid 1:40s that these guys were doing when it was all bunched up at the front. Alonso setting his pace at the front, and he's stretching the field apart.
Well, look at Boisry now, right on the tail of David Munoz once again. He's caught him up, about half a second gap down to, well, far less than 2/10. That's pretty much a singular bike length in realistic terms ahead of him. And it looks like they're not letting Alonso get away too much either. But he did seem, well, he had a good run out of turn 7 on towards turn 8 there. And what about turn 9? We know how good he is here. We'll have to see what the gap is when they come across the line this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got the two Munozes in 2nd and 4th. Daniel continuing to show really well in this race, sitting just behind Boisry there, and there's a little gap back then to Uriarte in 5th. Holgado has been so up and down throughout this race. He's back in 6th at the moment, and you can see there that Daniel Munoz is the fastest man on track.
And I tell you what, Boisry, both of them put 1:39 flats in. That's 0.4 of a second quicker than David Alonso. Goodness me, a new all-time lap record from your winner last weekend, Daniel Munoz. So this is not over yet, Neil Morrison. 4 laps to go. This is around about the time the tone of the race really changes. It gets a bit more hairy, and it doesn't get much more hairy than David Alonso into turn 3.
David Munoz.
Oh, that's the one, David Munoz, quite right. Too many Davids and Dannys.
Exactly, yeah. Tayo Furusato is, well, having a tough time of it, whereas he's up to 8th now, but he's got a track limits warning. He needs to be careful on the outside of this track. Has to be said that yesterday, none of David Alonso's pursuers were able to show the kind of pace that Boisry is showing right now.
Oh, Munoz of the Daniel variety, a massive mistake there into turn 4 from 4th position down to 11th. That is his podium hopes over.
Yeah, what a shame. Just a minute after setting a new all-time lap record for the Red Bull rookies at this track, he is out of the podium fight. That's a great shame for him. But it looks like Boisry, Matt, is the only man capable of running with Alonso.
Here's what happened between the Munozes as they break down into turn 4. It looked like, oh, Daniel just got way too out of shape and nearly clipped the back, nearly wiped out his namesake from both the race and potential championship contention. But as we'll switch back to the main race feed live pictures, I'm looking at Boisry, Neil, who is catching up to David Alonso. He might be able to do David Munoz a huge favour here.
Exactly. David Munoz does not want David Alonso to win this race. That would be pretty tough for his championship hopes. And you can see there that Munoz has had track limits warning, so he has to be a little bit careful. Oh, and that is...
Who was that?
That's Munoz.
Oh, David, oh dearie me, so that is race-winning hopes well and truly over for the Spaniard there. That was spectacular imagery, but that is it for him, unless something disastrous happens up front between Brasserie and Alonso. Brasserie's right on his tail. Furasato looking up the inside of both Uriarte and Munoz. Very cleanly done, but is it Ortola out front? I think it is, yes.
Ortola suddenly is now the lead off this pack for third. You can see Furasato's probably going to move by on the run to turn 4. Furasato's had a really strong recovery, it has to be said, from that earlier mistake, as we see David Munoz.
My goodness me,
wow.
What happened there? It's like he lost the front and the rear simultaneously.
And he just takes it all in his stride, straight back under the fairing.
That's how he rides, mate.
Powering up to turn 3. Yeah, not phased at all. Impressive stuff. But look at Brasserie here. These two now, a clear distance ahead. They've got 1.2 seconds in hand now over Furasato in third. It's a two-way fight for the victory, man.
Yeah, I really think it could be. So 2.5 laps to go then. Furasato in third now then, ahead of Ortola. And it looks like David Munoz has been pushed way back now. Yes, he's in, what, 7th position? Deary me, this is a disaster for him. But could well be light at the end of the tunnel just yet, because Alonso has been given a track limits warning, as has Holgado, but also David himself has been given one earlier on too. So all to be very careful on these penultimate lap and the final one too, because you could get a post-race penalty.
Yeah, after this race there's only 50 points to play, and if Alonso manages to win this race with David Munoz back in the pack, well, it's going to be a massive step forward toward winning the title in this year's Red Bull Rookies Cup. And well, on the basis of his performances in Austria, you would say it's a little more than he deserves, because he has been sensational, stretching the pack again right at the front. What about Furasato? Does he have the pace to go with these guys? He was running 39.5s last time around, but Alonso up front just getting faster once again at 39.2 for him.
Goodness me,
yeah,
a 1/10 of a second nearly quicker than Brasserie, but Brasserie able to just reel him in slightly down on these straights. They're both rather small framed riders, but Brasserie even more so seemingly, or he just gets such better drive out the corners. He's able to reel him in a little bit. This is not over yet, Neil Morrison. Cannot wait to see this final lap as we see Daniel Munoz on the recovery up the inside of Colin Vire there into turn 4.
Absolutely, yeah. Brasserie has got used to the taste of, well, do they spray champagne in this class at the end of the race on the podium?
Probably not, maybe Red Bull.
Okay, well, he's got used to the taste of that anyway. 3 podiums in the last 4 outings, and he's shadowing the championship leader across these final laps. But will he be able to get close enough to make a move?
Oh, this might be the difference between a rider who's been able to take many a wins in this class already and a rider who's looking for his first win. Who knows? But will the exuberance and, well, the potential taste of victory get the better of him, and he able to just, well, put all sort of self-preservation to side and to send it up the inside? That would just be absolutely brilliant stuff from Brasserie, as although another couple of tenths perhaps, nearly a quarter of a second then from Alonso in that final sector. 1 lap to go here in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup.
1 lap to go, and we've got a two-way fight, because Taio Furasato is 1.5 seconds back of David Alonso in first, so I think it's going to be between Alonso and Brasserie, barring some kind of miracle. Stranger things have happened though, I guess, in the past.
Yeah, but not least in MotoGP today.
Exactly, yeah. But here we go, up into turn 3, eyes on Furasato in third. It's nice and clean.
Oh, that's not clean between the Munozes though, as David pushes Daniel seriously wide there, and now they're battling against Danny Holgado on the run down towards turn 4. This isn't over yet, but I just can't see Brasserie getting that little extra edge over David Alonso.
Exactly, Alonso's gap to the front, his lead.
Oh, David Munoz as Holgado goes way wide into turn 4. Well, he needs all the points he can seriously get, does Munoz.
Yeah, these guys at the front are running near identical times. Alonso's lead has stood at 0.2 of a second for the best part of 3 laps. Brasserie, as well as he's riding, isn't quite able to get close enough, but maybe that'll change as they come out of turn 7.
What about this little final run to the line then? We're in the midst of the 3rd sector. You need to get as much corner speed as you could possibly get. Tachakorn, the win is there for the taking. If you can, if you're brave enough here into turn 9, use that corner speed against David Alonso. I'm not sure well, no front end touch there. That's good news. One corner to go, and I think he's done it. I think the Colombian's going to do it. He's going to rock to victory here. Another step closer to the title. David Alonso wins race 2 in Austria, but who gets third? It's Ortela from Furusato and Daniel Munoz taking 5th from David in 6th.